What can I say about Dark Knight that has not been said before? Christopher Nolan's masterpiece that was released in 2008 and changed the landscape of cinema for better or for worse. And all of that lands on the shoulders of one of the characters of the film that is just as iconic as the movie, if not more. Joker, played by Heath Ledger. There have been several other reincarnations of Joker throughout the years after the release of Dark Knight, some more successful than the others, but none of them had the essence of what made Heath Ledger's Joker what it was. As a result, that portrayal is always going to be unique throughout the history, maybe forever. In very simple terms, Joker in Dark Knight was chaos incarnate, with its origins and background shrouded in mystery. Joker himself offers several clues throughout the film about his background that all of them contradicts each other. As a result, there have been several theories about the identity of Joker in Dark Knight. However, throughout the years, I developed my own theory as to the identity of Joker. A few years ago, I watched a video on American Beauty by Lessons from the Screenplay. The video was about how all the main characters of the film were variations on the theme of appearance and true self. It's a great video and I recommend you all to watch it. However, that video got me thinking, what are the themes of the Dark Knight? And better yet, who are the main characters of the Dark Knight? In my opinion, the main characters of Dark Knight are Batman, Gordon, Harvey, and last but not least, Joker. I don't consider Rachel a main character, but I also don't think that she is some woman in the refrigerator. She plays a very important role in the story and themes of the series that I'm going to explore in a future video. But let's bring our focus to the main players, and let's see what each and every one of them are all about. Harvey is a person who believes in law and order. He has this idealistic view of the law, so much so that he doesn't even trust many of the people who are supposed to enforce the law. We see this in his distrust of Gordon's officers.
Gordon, I don't like that you've got your own special unit, and I don't like that it's full of cops I investigated at Internal Affairs.
As a matter of fact, Harvey's absolute reverence for the law even comes across in his promotional material for The Dark Knight, where he holds up this campaign pin as an object that represents him, rather than the character's iconic coin. I'm coming back to this poster later on, by the way. Gordon believes in people, and the society by extension. He allows many cops with not so quite bright background in his district to work for him. Also, funny enough, the fact that Gordon drives through a pavement when trying to get to Rachel is a further indicator that people have more importance to him than laws. Through spending many years in the police force, Gordon has learned that in order to fight the bad guys, he can't have an absolute respect for the law, like Harvey, and he have to sometimes bend it in order to stop crime.
If I didn't work with cops you'd investigate while you were making your name at IA, I'd be working alone. I don't get political points for being an idealist. I have to do the best I can with what I have.
And finally, we have Batman. Batman is a person who, through the death of his parents, witnessed that the law and society are ultimately unable to bring justice to the criminals. As a result, Batman only believes in himself. He believes that through his role as a vigilante, he can inspire people to be better and scare off criminals in hurting the society.
I'm going to show the people of Gotham their city doesn't belong to the criminals and the corrupt. People need dramatic examples to shake them out of apathy, and I can't do that as Bruce Wayne. As a man, I'm flesh and blood. I can be ignored, I can be destroyed, but as a symbol, I can be incorruptible.
So far, by looking at all of these previous characters, you will notice that all of them are about different ways to fight crime. And not only that, but you can also put all of these characters on a graph. At one end of the graph, we have an unquestionable faith in the law, as seen with Harvey. And as we come down, we see Gordon, someone who doesn't have an absolute belief in law, but rather people. And ultimately, further down the graph, we see Batman, who have lost his faith into society and the law and only believes in himself. Considering that all of the main characters of the story are about stopping criminals in the society, it is safe to say that the character of Joker is also about fighting crime.
What? What the fuck?
Think about it. Throughout the story, Joker gets rid of as much as criminals as Batman, Gordon, and Harvey does. If not more, far more. And that whole plot point about Joker needing half of the money of the mob is so weird when you really think about it. I mean, why does he need the money anyway? We can say that he needed it in order to get guns, bombs, and people in order to create chaos and catch Batman. But even when he gets to that money, he just freaking burns the money and tells the Chechen that he never needed the money anyway. The only way that whole plot point is going to make any sense, other than just saying that he's Joker, he's random, he wanted to create chaos, is that Joker wants to get rid of the mob just as much as the rest of the main characters. And by taking half of the money of the mob, he just wanted to strategically hit them to ensure that they would be unable to continue operating in the city. Now that we determined that Joker also wants to get rid of criminals, where can we put him on the graph that I created? Actually, another big question. What does all of this have to do with the identity of the Joker? Well, let me ask you something. What is Joker's ultimate goal throughout the story? It's not killing Batman. Yeah, it's what he says to the mob, but ultimately, it's not even that.
Then why do you want to kill me? I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you?
You can say that he wants to unmask Batman and find his real identity. I mean, initially he announces that he will be killing people every night in Gotham if Batman doesn't reveal his identity. But when Coleman Reese, one of Bruce Wayne's employees, was about to reveal Batman's true identity, Joker interrupts him and puts a bounty on his head, ensuring that Batman's true identity will never be revealed. So, what was his goal in demanding Batman revealing his identity in the first place? No, Joker's goal throughout all of the story is to show Batman that the law and the society are not worth fighting for, and his vigilantism is ultimately useless. His goal is to show Batman that there is too much evil in the heart of people, which eventually leads to their destruction. But again, what even this has to do with the true identity of the Joker? Well, when I ask myself why Joker wanted to show Batman why the law and the society are not worth fighting for, I came up with a theory. What if Joker used to be a vigilante, just like Batman? In my theory, Joker also used to be a vigilante in his own little town, dispatching bad guys just like Batman does, but ultimately, he fails in his quest. He fails to inspire people. He fails to become that symbol of hope and justice for people. He notices that no matter how much he tries, no matter how much he beats up criminals or even kills them, things didn't change. There was no justice in society, and crime was still going on. This realization sends him in a downward spiral, which ultimately makes him the person that he is now. But then he notices that in another city, Gotham, there is another vigilante who, just like how he was, is trying to get rid of criminals. This sets him on his current path of trying to show this one vigilante that society is not worth saving. What's up, demons? It's your boy, Video Gumshoe. And today, we are joined by my cat, Rex. I love him so much. Let me show you a cool thing about him. Rex Dast. Dast in Farsi means hand. Give me a handshake. And anyway, if you're watching this, it means that you're watching this on YouTube. And in order for me to upload this video on YouTube, I had to censor part of it and do a frick ton of shit, a whole lot of things on this video in order to appease the copyright gods. So if you guys want to watch my uncensored original vision for this YouTube video, if you want to watch my uncensored original vision for this video, you can go down to the links that I provided below and either go to my Patreon, support me there, or directly buy this video from Gumroad. And also, I have to let you know that the third episode of my miniseries Passerby is out, which is about a runaway boy who befriends a girl with a dark, mysterious past. And this third episode is finally out after 3 years. And this is the reason I need you guys' support. Because it takes so long for me to make these videos. This whole Joker theory video, it took me since 2021, believe it or not. And this is the reason I need you guys' help. Also, I have to let you know that the filming on my on my other short film, Italian Goodbye, is finally done. Italian Goodbye is about a young Italian gangster who falls in love with his boss's daughter and all the drama and violence that ensues. And also, again, before I let you go, I have to let you know that you can watch my other stuff on my Gumroad or Patreon. Videos such as the uncensored original version of my Sopranos Patsy Parisi theory video. My original Sopranos my uncensored original Sopranos Patsy Parisi theory video. You can watch it either on my Patreon or directly buy it from my Gumroad page. Again, I cannot thank you enough, and hey, see you guys. You can watch the rest of the video now. When you look at the film through the lens of this theory, a whole lot of the things in the story starts to make sense. This explains Joker's insane drive and motivation to prove to Batman that society is corrupted. Also, it explains his proficiency with guns and bombs and the fact that no one can find his identity on a database. It also explains the fact why Joker initially wanted Batman to reveal his identity, only for him to later shut down the only person who was going to reveal it. Joker wanted Batman to reveal his identity so he could get to him, have a heart-to-heart with him, explain why Batman's crusade for justice was pointless, and even try to break his no-killing rule. Joker never wanted to kill Batman. And after Joker basically does all of that after kidnapping Harvey, talking to Batman in an interrogation room, and technically forcing him to kill the love of his life by making him choose between Harvey and Rachel, anyone trying to reveal the identity of Batman was pointless to him, and would further complicate his plan for showing how rotten Gotham is to Batman. This theory even explains Joker's scars. You see, the types of scars that Joker has are called the Glasgow scars, which is common practice among British gangsters. Criminals who live in Scotland, Birmingham, and London would create these scars on the face of anyone who tries to stand up against them. Think about it. Joker used to be a normal person, just like me and you, but then, during a bar fight somewhere in England, he got his Glasgow scars from a bunch of gangsters. That inspired him to become a vigilante and take down criminals, only for him to become jaded and weary of his path, and decides to show Batman that becoming a vigilante is pointless. This leads me to the persona that Joker has chosen for himself. You see, in your run-of-the-mill deck of cards, all the playing cards are either black or red. There are other types of distinctions and groupings such as the number of the cards or the suit that they belong to, but essentially all playing cards in a deck is either black or red. All of them except for one, the Joker. The Joker card is the only playing card that doesn't belong to a red or a black suit. The allegory of playing cards can also be applied to the people of Gotham City. All the characters in there are either police/civilian or criminal. Joker, when starting as a vigilante, couldn't see himself being part of the criminals, but he also couldn't see himself being part of the cops either. And that's the reason he chose the moniker of Joker for himself. Now let me ask you something. Throughout this film, who is the person that is constantly fighting with criminals but can't be grouped with the cops either? That's right, Batman. Just like Joker, Batman doesn't belong to both of these groups. And this is the reason that in this promotional material, Harvey is holding up his ad campaign pin that is covered in American flag, symbolizing his belief in law. Batman holds up his Batarang, symbolizing his belief in himself and his actions. And Joker holds up a Joker card that instead of a clown, has Batman in center of it, symbolizing the fact that Batman is just as much of a Joker than him, a vigilante that belongs to no group. But ultimately, why all of this matters? Why am I talking about the origin story of a silly little character from a film that came out more than 10 years ago? Well, throughout these years, and even more recently, there has been this discussion about the fact that how silly and unethical it is that Batman, a multi-millionaire, goes around at night and beats up bad guys, instead of financially helping people and reducing crime that way.
I kind of hate Batman. Like, Hank, if I were a billionaire, the first thing I would do would be to pledge 90% of my money to charity. Then I would give AFC Wimbledon a bunch of money so they could build a new stadium. And then I would still be super rich, because $1 billion is a lot of money. But I am getting slightly off topic here. Point being, Hank, I don't think I'd be a particularly good or generous billionaire, but one thing I wouldn't do is spend $1 gajillion developing a Batmobile that only I am allowed to drive. Batman is just a rich guy with an affinity for bats who's playing out his insane fantasy of single-handedly ridding Gotham of crime. How is that heroic?
I started to think about why Batman just doesn't start up a bunch of charities and distribute his wealth that way, so there are no more poverty and no more crimes in Gotham City. Then I came to a realization. You see, the character of Batman, but more specifically the Dark Knight trilogy, is all about the question that what would happen if you go outside right now and beat up a bunch of bad guys? It's a very popular fantasy among all sorts of media. However, most people would not act on this fantasy because they do not have the physical, psychological, and even financial power to go through with it. Batman, or Bruce Wayne if you want to be technical, is a character that due to a set of circumstances can act on that fantasy every night. Aside from the fact that not all people commit crime due to poverty, Bruce Wayne, being this psychologically tortured multi-millionaire prick, offers him the power and opportunity to go out to Gotham City every night and beat up crooks, and becomes the manifestation of this question that what would happen if you started to beat up a bunch of criminals? And the thing is, Joker is the answer to that question. Joker is what you eventually become when you go out every night and try to bring justice in your own way to criminals. Because eventually, you will be filled with so much physical and psychological scars that you think that only chaos is the true answer to all evil in the world. And I think this is the point of The Dark Knight.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.